So here we are in Market Harborough and the HQ of Joules, the lifestyle and clothing company set up by founder and returning CEO Tom Joule 36 years ago.
Yes, tender age of 21.
Wow. And people can do the maths now. Yeah.
started a table in a field selling socks.
Brilliant.
And a few jumpers.
And here we are in this fantastic facility, custom design. It's absolutely magical. And Tom's given me a look around and state of the art and just what a brand like this needs. Tom, thank you so much for having us here today. And in that 36 years and maybe longer, when you think of high performance, what's the one thing that comes to mind for you?
Direction and customer.
Okay.
You need to really be in tune with your customer. And then when you are, you need to give very, very clear direction to your teams.
Okay.
And you need good teams.
Yeah.
You need teams that are specialists in all the areas that you need for a fashion business. So you need people that can perform at a high level in merchandising, in buying, design. And it helps if you can galvanize them and they all get on.
Yeah,
And then that'll emanate out to your consumer. You know, it's so sensitive, fashion, that if there is infighting or if there is different opinions, that'll come out of the product. So you all need to be on the same page.
Yeah.
So it's a North Star.
Fantastic. I've heard stories about you when in the early days when you were trading out the back of the van. Those same principles apply then as they do to now.
Yeah, I think it's all about observation.
Okay.
It's all about getting close to your customer. As soon as you disconnect, as soon as you think that you've got something that's more important, there is never anything more important. Because the only thing that really matters is being in tune and then delivering great product. I think it's not about making money. You've got to think of it like you want to please the customer. If you please the customer, you'll sell a lot of product.
Well, it's always that thing is the money comes at the end of the equation, not on this side, and let's focus on that side.
If you're too focused on what sold so well the year before, and if you think that it's going to make you a load of money the following year, then you're out of touch. You've got to be thinking about what they want next.
Yeah.
And if you can get to a position where you're surprising them by being ahead of them and giving them product that they didn't even know that they wanted until you put it in front of them, that's the key.
Yeah. And with 180 people here now, just at HQ, getting those teams right, what are the things that you look for as you build these teams?
I never like using this word, but it is passion. You need to want to work in a business like this.
Yeah.
You need to like the product. You need to live the lifestyle to a certain extent, to be in tune. And then you need to make sure you've got experience at the highest level.
Right.
And that you're always bringing in talent which you feel that will progress.
So what do you look for when you recruit people here? So it's a new person in. What are the things that you look for in that person? You say the passion, but how do you sense it?
I suppose you sense it through the way that it might be the way they dress. It might be the way that they talk about your brand and other brands, because there is connections between, and that they get brand and lifestyle and you're not just moving commodity.
Right.
Or there's two ways of buying a product. There is, I want to buy into a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Or somebody gets up in the morning and says, I need a black coat.
Yeah.
A black coat, you're going to go on an aggregator like a M&S or a Next or a Very Group. And that's one way of trading. A brand, you're buying into a feeling.
Yeah.
And if you're buying into a feeling, then you need to spot those people that can tell the difference between those two things. Because there's selling stuff and there's selling a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And this business, at its worst point, was just selling stuff. And now we're building it back. Yeah, connecting back. Yeah. to understand their customer and doing it from, you're right from the heart.
And how does that reflect itself in the culture internally, both here and in your stores?
So the culture is very friendly, not only to the customer, but internally. And there's always this thing, you don't get too familiar.
Yes.
And it's right. But there is a bit of familiarity in a business this size.
Yeah.
And then camaraderie that leads to collaboration, that leads to excitement, that leads to great products.
Becomes infectious.
It does become infectious. And then when you overperform, people want to then do more.
Becomes like a drug almost, isn't it?
It's intoxicating.
Yeah.
And Joules is getting that back now. We've been delivering great results after some difficult times, and the customers are talking really wonderfully about us again. And it's because we've connected with them. They like what we give. They like what they're seeing. They like how we're turning up. They like the quality again. And so it's feeling good. There's no complacency. That's the thing. As soon as you, and that's the thing that I've learned over those 30 years plus, is as soon as you think you've made it, as soon as you think you're riding high, if you let complacency come in.
One of the hardest teams I ever worked with is they overperformed for 9 quarters of the large SaaS business, and they were doing really well, and they kind of drifted into they were still very positive. The results were slipping, and they just didn't know how to handle that. So that being complacent part is really, you've got to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. And the way you do that is to create this excitement, and certainly in fashion is to have newness. And newness that doesn't sort of surprise your customer too much. It's got to be familiar to them.
Yes.
And that comes back to understanding the customer.
Yeah. I mean, you live and breathe your brand, and it's, I would imagine when you came back in, people were just genuinely excited.
Yeah. And everybody expects it to happen immediately. And of course, with fashion, it takes a while. It actually takes 18 months, really, from research and laying down the direction, doing all the prototyping, and even longer because I've had some time off. So it takes, again, another 6 months to get in tune. You have to be in it and with it. And it was trying to pick up the teams as well because they'd gone through, a few years of difficult times. And it was making them believe. And of course, nobody believes until you're actually getting some good results.
That's right.
So it's keeping that motivation through those first 18 months wasn't easy.
And I mean, obviously that takes a lot of energy. Where's your inspiration come from?
I love work. I love getting up in the morning. I love leading teams.
Yeah.
Jez, it's not about the money. It's about the success. And when you've built something up and your name's above the door, it's to show people that it can be great again. And it was like a challenge, really, to prove that it was a great business.
Yeah.
We knew what we were doing. As the Joule family, we knew what we were doing. And it's great. We were given another chance, and it's starting to come through, and it can only get better. I think it will get a lot better because
I have no doubt.
Yeah.
And what's your advice to other founders out there who may be struggling with all sorts of things? What's the one sort of key piece of advice you would give to them?
You need tenacity. Building a business, you have so many knockbacks, and you need tenacity. And then tenacity will bring you luck.
Yeah.
It's like the famous golf, was it Gary player? The more I practice, the luckier I become.
Yeah.
And I think that is that hard work, tenacity, but you do need talented people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Search those out.
Yeah, search those out.
And what's the advice to people working for founders, who may be kind of struggling or just sort of thinking, God, what am I doing here in this business?
Yeah, founders aren't the easiest people to work with. I think founders can ask a lot. but they can give a lot as well.
Yeah.
And founders are very good at, I mean, over the years, I've employed people that have gone on to some phenomenal positions in some great businesses that are CEOs of brands that sit on PLC boards.
Yeah.
And they started in Joules 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think founders are very good at giving talented people chances because you get recognised. We're quite intuitive at seeking out who's doing a good job.
So if you're there and the founder you're working for is not necessarily kind of seeing that in you, what would your advice to that person be?
Don't be a shrinking violet. I mean, don't sit in meetings and not say anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, put yourself forward and put your ideas forward. We've got assistants here that will be running departments because I can see already that they're in tune, they have an opinion, and they're clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a credit to you that you can see it and spot it in people, but you've created that culture where it's okay to speak up.
Yes, I think that's true. I have to admit, when there was 500 of us in this office, now there's only about 185.
Okay.
To be quite honest, that was too big.
Right.
And I didn't know everybody's name, and I didn't know what everybody did, and I probably was too removed from it. But I don't think I'd make that mistake again. Yeah, it's really important that people feel comfortable. If people feel comfortable, they'll talk.
Yeah.
And then you'll learn a lot more. And they know. Yeah, it's important that you give people a voice.
Yeah. That's often hard for a lot of companies and a lot of organizations. And so what's your last piece of advice, whether you're a founder or an employee, help them be better at what they do?
Show your manager that you want to progress.
Yeah.
And once you feel that you're taking to your task well, ask for more. And here it's very much, we have reviews every 6 months. You know, we run something called a 9-box.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know the 9-box. And that seems to work really well because it gives you points in the diary where you can have real, honest conversations. And you can...
So as long as those happen, because I know
as long as those
have a 9-box and everybody tries to squeeze everybody in the top right.
Wow. Yeah. It's interesting when your managers first do it.
Yeah.
They do that.
Yeah.
And then you have to sort of have all these conversations with your managers about. But when you've got this amount of people, you can have those honest conversations because at sort of just below 200, you've worked with the people that the managers are working with. You've been in meetings with them. So you can have those conversations. I think with 500 people, it's more difficult because they only talk to their managers.
Yeah.
But yes, that's proven to be really very good to run a 9-box.
That feedback around people's performance is so important. And a lot of times it's the thing that doesn't actually happen. So it's quite hard to kind of, trying to nail fault to a wall. It's hard.
And this time round, we've made sure that feedback is constant. Yeah, before I didn't see the importance of it, but certainly do this time.
What's changed?
What's changed is before I could never see myself finishing work. In other words, I could never see myself retiring.
Yeah.
When you get to 57, you know that you can't go on forever, which means that you have to create an organization that doesn't need the founder. And the only way you can do that is to make sure that you have high performance at every level.
Yes.
And the only way you can do that is by running a 9-box. And that'll take time. That'll take time for that culture to be embedded. It'll take time for all of the managers not to put everybody in the far right-hand side all the time, top right-hand corner. And also, it will eventually make sure that you've got high performing throughout the whole of the organisation. And that won't happen in year 1, year 2. It'll happen in year 7 or 8 or sooner. But if you're always tweaking,
yes,
and then it leads to knowing what to look for when you're recruiting.
Yeah.
So I suppose that's what's changed.
Brilliant. Well, Tom, thank you so much. And I look forward to maybe not the next 36 years, but maybe a good few more.
I'd like to be around for the next 36 years.
You personally, but in the business. Tom,
Jez.
thanks so much.
Cheers.
As we listen to Tom Joule there, absolutely fascinating, not only what he's doing now, but what he's learnt along the way. And it's that key focus on high performance. So remember, be better, do better, demand better. Let's go.